You may be wondering why I'm dressed this way. Normally I have my regular Mr. Otaku get up for my videos, but not this time. Not this time. I'm here to talk about Sommni, or John Serrano Manida, aka Sommni, but I'm gonna use the word Sommni and John Serrano Molina in this video interchangeably. Anyway, MAGFest 2025 was supposed to be another convention where I was supposed to go all in on documenting on photo and video on all my photography equipment. But the actions of Sommni prevented me from covering the convention at the levels I wanted to or prepared to. Probably because his willful failure to communicate with malicious intent. Read, he was basically a scammer. And he has helped everyone except me when he claimed to me that he was scammed himself. So Sommni told me before MAGFest that he had a room available for MAGFest 2025. I paid him $400 through Cash App. One other day, the first day of MAGFest, I tried contacting him the day before, and before I arrived, which room he was in. He didn't respond. The day I arrived, I tried to look for him and try to contact him. He didn't respond until he told me where he was at hours ago. Hours later, he then admitted to me on day one and to other people what he got for his room that he got scammed. The $400 I paid him was basically lost. If he had told me about this hours or the day before, I would have made certain arrangements. Hell, I would have treated this convention as a CommuniCon for the first time since I did a similar CommuniCon for MAGFest 2007. I meant, yeah. Yeah, the last time I had CommuniCon was during MAGFest 2008 and 2009. MAGFest 2010 was the first MAGFest I stayed for all 4 days. The first two MAGFests I attended, MAGFest 2009 and MAGFest 2008, were just CommuniCons for me. But anyway, again, if you had told me this earlier that he was scammed, I would have made alternate arrangements. I wouldn't mind committing to the convention every day, since it was relatively cheaper than paying $400. Now, for the next 3 days, he tried helping people he was supposed to be rooming with, to be with other people. But he forgot about me. The first day he helped, 2 people got rooms. But I was left behind for some unknown reason. The first day he told me to stay in the gazebo area until he came back. Problem is, he never came back. Anyway, I basically waited for an hour or two until I realized he forgot about me. So I had to wait in a LAN room and take naps in that LAN room. Sommni even suggested that I contacted one of my other friends. But he told me that his room was full, and I respected that. The next day I spent some time in the convention and I managed to find Sommni. He didn't tell me any plan. He just asked me to follow him around to and from room to room. No plan. No leads. Wolf noticed that my cameras were off during this time. Basically, this was time that I basically waited with Sommni instead of being in the convention area, documenting the convention. I followed him to one room. He told me to wait outside at the porch while he ate lunch, because apparently lunch is more important than actually helping me. I sat there for about 30 minutes, then went back to the room to charge my phone and battery pack, and took a nap on the floor. Sommni came back, and his roommates told me that he actually had no room for me, and I should leave. And I expected that, and I did. Sommni later told me that he found some of the room with, but that lead went cold. I just followed him to party room, to another party room, and again my camera was off during that time. Eventually I realized it's Concord again, and at that point I just snapped. I eventually told him that you eventually need to find a way to pay me back. What he did? He just smiled at me and went back to an elevator. I just spent a night with barely any sleep. And it's worth noting that Sommni was a volunteer at MAGFest. He was responsible for the night shift, around 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. for the registration desk. Yes, he was a volunteer staff. Not core staff, but he was volunteer staff. Now, the next day, he admits that he found someone, but he was concerned that the room turned into a party room. And when I investigated for him, it was a party room. And I reported the results back to him. But at that point, I was done. And I didn't care anymore. After the con was over, I did visit him for the final time at the lobby. And he told me that I can rest in his room before I can leave home. But he needed to do something, so I couldn't contact him. So I went for dinner. And believe it or not, it was a decent dinner I had. I don't remember what I ate though, but I did remember eating at let me see, the Silver Diner, which is it's a chain of good restaurants in Maryland. You should try out the Silver Diner, the restaurant chain across Prince George's and in Maryland. Seriously, check it out. It has good stuff. There's also a Silver Diner at the BWI airport, post-airport security. But, again, I did visit him for the final time in his room, eventually. I did manage to find my way up to his room, because he didn't respond to my text on Discord. Worth knowing that he claims to have a broken screen on his phone, and claims to have a poor reception, which is really bullshit, because you can walk outside the hotel or go to any hotel room in the Gateway or National, and you get plenty of signal. During busy times, during CatsCon and MAGFest, the cell phone signal in the first two areas, the first two floors, even the gazebo area, even the atrium area, they turn to dead zones because so many people using their cell phones for Facebook and Twitter X, and Instagram that clogs up the signal, clogs up the cell phone towers there. Oh, and there's this rumor that I stalked a child at the Pokemon photo shoot, which was impossible since I was too occupied carrying a huge plush of Cloyster that I had at the time. And my body cams were on, my head cam and body cam was on to head off any accusation of said stalking. So in short, I never bothered anyone. I was just a person at the con trying to have fun while waiting for a crash race that never came due to Sommni claiming that he was scammed while trying to get rid of me over something I said over MAGFest 2022 about how MAGFest 2022 was operating. And I said that during the Corona-chan hysteria. People never care about my presence until I spoke up about MAGFest 2022, and ever since then I'm still seen as the devil. But eventually I found out that, in the end, he didn't want to admit that he stole the money from me and from other roommates at MAGFest 2025. Maybe waste 2 hours of my time, no, 2 days of my time on false hope. And he finally admitted that he could not help me and passed the buck to one of my friends. I mean, seriously, if you see someone who, if you try to confront someone with something that he did, or about stealing money or whatever, and he responds with a blank face or a smirk, he or she probably has an undiagnosed cluster B personality disorder. I'm dead serious. That's a telltale sign of someone who has undiagnosed cluster B personality disorder right there. Now, I dealt with Sommni for a few years, and I could tolerate his plush carrying, and I don't blame him for that since I'm a big plush collector and plush lover. If anyone suggests that I actually had sex with plushies, that's a big fat lie. Tell him to get his mind out of the gutter. Again, I'm a huge lover of plushies, and I have a huge collection in my bedroom. Literally, I'm serious. Anyway, I could tolerate his plush collection or his plush carrying, and besides, he did sell me a few plushies. Basically, plushies of a 2020 Chopper, which I still have a few. I actually have one more that is not unboxed yet, due to the really small space of my apartment. And I could tolerate the room switches in past conventions, but him losing $400 and done everything he can to avoid admitting that he can't find anyone to let me crash and pause to pay back the money, and he avoids admitting the fact that he stole the money, that he basically scammed everyone. That is a terminal red line. In short, I'm done with Sommni. I'm not contacting him or talking to Sommni at all, ever. That is extreme buck passing right there. Tell me that they couldn't find anyone for me to crash with, and to avoid admitting that he couldn't have. He avoided admitting that he stole the money. What's the final straw? He could have avoided all this if he told me up front that he's been scammed before I rushed to arrive Thursday afternoon after work. He could avoid all this. I mean, seriously, the best way to avoid scammers like Sommni is basically ensure that he communicates. Make sure that he communicates with you days or weeks before the convention, so he can square up all the details. And if a person refuses to communicate with you or doesn't do regular communication with you, like within 24 hours each message, or at least 6 to 12 hours after each message, besides everyone is busy with work and such, then it's a good chance he's a scammer. 2, don't send the money until you meet the person. Don't send any money until you enter the room or you meet the person, because a lot of people in the anime convention scene, especially in the MAGFest and Katsucon community, scammers are more rampant, especially post-lockdown. And they're doing their jobs efficiently. Very efficiently. They're scamming people with efficiency. With ruthless efficiency. So, the best way to avoid being scammed is to have regular communication, and you receive regular communication on a regular basis. And 2, don't send the money or pay the person until you see the room. Until you enter the room. Until you meet the person at minimum. Matter of fact, don't send them the money until you move into the room. Don't. this is JK from the Ministry of Otaku speaking. Regular programming will resume eventually, because I got a lot of life stuff to deal with. Alongside this, I should have played this with a regular bookshelf over a year ago. But that's it. See you.